Hello, this is Cheryl, and I'm so grateful you're joining me today. Trust that this safe and loving space is exactly where you are meant to be, to ignite your higher self and empower you in this very moment in time. There are no coincidences, so trust the nudges that call to you. As I open, channel, and share today's light-filled conversation, take what resonates with you and leave the rest. We are all working to uncover the truths that will serve us on our unique journeys. Each new day brings discovery, and this truth is always empowering, illuminating, and available to us. Now is your moment to deepen your spiritual connection. If it's light, it's right. Hello and welcome. Welcome back to If It's Light, It's Right. And today we're going to work on that part 2 of dimensions, of heaven and earth and other dimensions. In part 1, we talked about the other side being the counterpart to earth. Today, we're going to talk about other dimensions other than heaven, the lighted realm. We're going to talk about other dimensions, but I'm going to, for conversation, I wanted to just talk about dimensions collectively and other dimensions collectively and how they're similar and different to Earth. So Earth is going to be the standard, and the other dimensions, again, are going to be collective. So if you haven't done part 1 yet, it'd be a great time to go back and look or come back after. Timing and synchronicity is part of the process of learning. So whatever feels light and right. So the major highlights from part 1, you can peek at that. But here are some pieces I just want to bring back in to kind of build a foundation to where we're going to go today. And so today we're going to talk about the similarity differences and why spirits that have incarnated in other dimensions and choose Earth and the difficulty that they generally face. And I see this very often in my readings as evidence for me. And then I'm going to share a personal, profound experience for myself in another dimension. So stay tuned for that as well. So in other dimensions, there is the emotions are Earth has so many deep emotions, and on the other side, in other dimensions, it doesn't exist, right? So when you're finding your understanding about the background to other dimensions, keep expanding, right? Keep expanding, just as I said in part 1 too, and really in all parts of spirituality. Take what foundation feels light and right for you and keep expanding in your own timetable, without any rules or have-tos or feelings that are earthbound, right? Just keep opening to this experience. And you will find your truths. You very well may have incarnated from other dimensions. My experience that I'll share in just a couple minutes might be something that is part and parcel of what you've kind of experienced. So stay open to that. And remember, free will exists in all dimensions, right? There's no we're created from God, from source, and it is always the same wherever we move. Incarnated in earth, other side, other dimensions, free will is always intact. No right or wrong. It's a spiritual place. And if I could just add to that, we do choose to go to other dimensions and for experience. So stay open to that kind of travel. I'm still exploring it. It was interesting when this notion of a two-part came in. I know I have my pocket of experience and my spiritual knowledge and belief. It is very foundational. It is not very deep because I don't choose it to be. Maybe as I kind of keep moving through this lifetime, I might find more of a pull to find out more or to expand my knowledge, but I don't. It's not on my high list of knowledge. I am all about the earth experience and the heaven experience and that interchange more deeply than I am to experience other dimensions. I know I've been there. I've been told, and I'll share an experience I have with you when I left and I went home from one of my incarnations. So I will, but I don't have a burning spiritual desire to find out more. Maybe you're with me, maybe you're not. Maybe you're like, "Whoa, I'm really interested in that." Maybe there's a reason why you're so curious about that. Maybe there's something for you to learn, to help you in your current journey about that. Or you're just very interested, and I say follow what speaks to you. If it feels light and right, do it. Move towards it. The universe will keep playing it, putting it in your place. So when we explore other dimensions, and I'm going to talk about how they're same and different from the Earth's experience, and it's Earth is the kingpin of all of all things to be judged by. It is how it and it will kind of explain why our difficulty is so difficult on this journey. And I'm also going to talk about why spirits have difficulty in this journey when if they don't have a lot of experience on this earth plane, but they have many experiences on other planes of existence. So how they are similar, how other dimensions in Earth's other side is similar, is we have the same divine source, God. God created all. Uh, Everything that complements every dimension is created by source, by God, by whoever you speak to as your divine source. Free will, talked about, is is our divine gift. It never leaves us. And incarnation is always a choice. What what dimensions? How many times in a dimension? It is always our choice. It is never a have to. It is a goal of learning and remember ascending and perfecting for God. That is our reason for moving into other dimensions. And again, every dimension uh, has another side. It has an equal side. And so when we do travel to this dimension, or Earth's dimension, it is part of our choice. Some spirits that choose Earth will have adjustments to make if they have many incarnations in other dimensions. And we're going to just talk about that quickly. And I'll give you some insight to what I've seen and heard from in my readings. So when we talk about the differences, so those are the similarities, right? We have free will, we can choose anything, we have the same divine source. We are working to ascend our spirits higher to Lord God and perfecting and all these pieces. So you get those basic parts. Now let's kind of pinpoint some specific areas. Let's talk about emotions. Remember, other dimensions versus Earth, and other dimensions is collective. In other dimensions, that collective pocket is the emotions are very light. I don't have a lot of experience or knowledge base to kind of go to deeper than that. I just know it is not rich with emotions that are daunting in earth, because that earth's emotion and the heavy emotions that we carry are like no other dimension. And that I do know. I do know that. And I ask you to open your heart for that as well. I know that. And because of that, the earth is so difficult because not only is it full of emotions, but there's full range of spirit, of all different spirits that make our journeys more difficult. I will say too, and I'll just say this very quickly and very much in light, the Earth's lifetime is so difficult because it is so full of emotions and there's so much going on. So when I say that there's darker individuals, darker spirits that infiltrate into our pocket of existence here on Earth undetected, because there's so many different hues and levels of emotions at all times. And so darkness and heaviness and they kind of walk effortlessly in our journey. So we're constantly working through so many different emotions. And I keep that as a pocket because that's going to be a conversation that we have of why spirits have difficulty when they come if they haven't been here a lot. Let's move to another aspect of differences, karma. Karma is light. And I keep that word light because I can't speak about every dimension on the other side. So again, collective. And it's heavy. It's so heavy on this earth's plane, right? Everything that we do well and not so well because become karma, and we have good karma too. But that's the karma we usually don't have to work with or work through. It's the heavy karma, right? It's the fear of being left. It is not feeling worthy. It's not feeling loved. Not ever making the right decisions. Whatever that is, being controlled by addictions of sorts in however that manifests through each lifetime. Those are heavy karmic pieces. Even losing loved ones or even children, some things that we just didn't do so well in a past lifetime, we can't just dismiss that. It has to come back. We have to, I say, put that coat back on. So karma is heavy, heavy on this earth. And it is intertwined in measured in with emotions. There's not one without the other. Next line of item is incarnations. Let's talk about incarnations from other dimensions versus Earth. Other dimensions, there we have many, many incarnations. I've been told I have thousands in other dimensions. But remember, incarnations, eh, there's no time on the other side, and I can't speak to other dimensions as well. Again, I'm just saying collective, but a lifetime might be a snap, literally a snap, a snap, a snap. And and again, with very light emotions, there's not a lot to work through. And in Earth, our incarnations are much fewer because of the difficult experiences that we all choose and happen to us in this walk, right? We can't just say, okay, yeah, I'm gonna just, I'm gonna make this a rosy little voyage here. I gotta put that coat on. I'm at the mercy of everybody else's free will. Boy, oh boy. I call it like the whack-a-mole, right? You get your head up, boom, 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 boom. This is a very hard journey. There's no one that leaves this journey without their challenges because we do choose those and we get more than our number given to us. Next line item is ascension. We all incarnate for ascension to perfect for God. It's at a slower rate on other dimensions because it's not as much work, right? And that being why other spirits choose to incarnate on Earth because the efficiency is much greater because there's so much to learn. There's so much um, to be experienced and challenged. So the ascension is higher and faster on this Earth's plane because we earn it. When we lead this journey, if we were had an efficient journey, we're so much further ahead than anyone on another dimension or on the other side. We're still ascending even on the other side by helping our loved ones or helping soul groups or whatever on this earth's plane. We're still helping, so we're still adding to that badge. But there is nothing compared to an earth incarnation, an efficiency of earth incarnation. So much slower on other dimensions. A lot that can be gained with an efficient lifetime on the earth's plane. Next lighted topic is divineness, divine help. On other dimensions, it's not as needed as much, and I'm sure you already know what I'm going to say, and it's because the emotions and the karma aren't so heavy, right? But my goodness, on this earth's plane, I don't know about you, but I have my hand out every minute of every day, it feels, right? Help me, give me love, give me comfort, help me, take this away from me, right? I am constantly asking for help. And I encourage you to do the same as well. I say, before the words are out of your mouth, their hand is extended to you. And trust that. They don't want us to endure more than we've chosen. Always. And the final difference I want to just point out is the novice spirit on the choice of their plane. And when I say that, when I say a novice spirit, I mean in terms of number of incarnations. So let's say I was a novice, I was only on the earth's plane. I only really chose with my free will to do the earth's plane. If I did that and I went to another dimension and I chose that, it wouldn't be It would be mildly different, right? It would be mildly different because, again, there's not a lot of emotions. Maybe I viewed that dimension a good amount of times, and now I'm ready to incarnate because I know how things kind of work. But the Earth's whew, the Earth, a novice spirit has difficulty. So now reverse that thinking. Reverse me, use me. I've had thousands on other dimensions, but maybe a small amount on the earths. Maybe 10 or 20 is usually what I notice as my novice or my the spirits that are coming in sometimes with difficulty, and usually like 20 incarnations. And again, depends on efficiency. It's not quantity, it's quality. But generally, at about 20 to 30 are more of my novice spirits that have incarnated, and they have difficulty on occasions, right? And generally, when I see them, that's generally the reason why they're needing some source of light. And here's why that a novice spirit on earth has difficulty. Because it is, yep, you might have heard me say this once or twice, it is the most emotional plane of existence. So you can watch all that you can on the other side, and very often that's what happens, right? Because we can also choose what dimensions we want to watch. We have freedom of movement always. That's a similarity between all our dimensions. And generally, when you're getting ready to incarnate, you're watching. You're watching on the dimension that you're going to incarnate in it because you want to learn all that you can and take that with you in your travels. And when we're on the other side, there's no emotions, right? There's beautiful emotions, excuse me, but there's no adverse emotions, right? And fear and guilt are kingpins. And if you've even had just one incarnation on earth, you have your karmic coat, right? There's a karmic coat, I feel on other dimensions, but it's a light coat, right? It's a little windbreaker. We have a thick, thick coat, inches thick. I'm being a little facetious, but I think I really want to make that point. Um, that fear and guilt doesn't exist as deeply in other dimensions. I can't speak for every dimension, and I would never do that. But I do know it's never as deep. It's on the lighter side. And an experience for someone that's can't come from a non-Earth incarnation, they have their experience is very small. No matter how much they've watched, as soon as you become flesh and blood, as soon as you come into the womb, even with all your lighted, purposeful choices, um, you are now human, and you are on a road of forgetting the other side. Because as I've spoken about so often in my episodes, is we come here knowing that we will forget because it would be so difficult to live this journey of earth, of humanness, and remember the beautiful sanctity of the other side. It would be too difficult to say, "Why would I do this?" And it would bring such devastation into our being that we just would have such great difficulty. So we do have a forgetting. I call it like an earth amnesia of sort, and we do purposely do that. But I do have to also say that these spirits that have chosen to come from other dimensions, knowing, knowing in spirit that things will be difficult, but that does not mean that it will be easy. It will. I I will have everything I need, because that forgetting is really hard. And when we're navigating this difficult plane of existence and not having a lot of human experience, I call it almost, hanging under the radar, learning how to deal with people that are maybe not nice, not understanding why people do the things that they do. These are the aspects in readings that I see. Like, I don't understand how people could be so mean. I don't understand. I'm a good, nice person, but I feel as though I feel their energy and I don't know how to get rid of it. I don't feel like I belong here. I don't understand why I chose this. Again, those inner feelings that are so strong, generally they reflect and uphold that you're maybe a novice spirit on this earth's plane, but you did choose it. You did choose to come for reasons of ascension, for experience. Maybe you felt ready. Maybe you're putting yourself in a soul group that was going to really help you, or maybe because of their choices that dismantled a bit. We come, uh, um, veteran spirits as myself, we come knowing that we come with contingencies. I know what I will need to I know what I'll be challenged with, but again, we're at the mercy of everyone else's choices and free will, right? So we're constantly in moving and weaving and finding our gratitude to try and squelch all of the difficulty, right? And that is not easy and it's exhausting. But the veteran spirits have experience in this. A novice spirit does not. So that is a really difficult place for a novice spirit, and I say that with light and love, a novice spirit to maneuver through. And so for that reason, and I do want to just speak about this before we go into our break, is because of that reason, a novice spirit hasn't had the opportunity to and I mean this in a great, beautiful way, is they haven't learned how to harden their heart while in human form. They are very open to spirit. They are very open. They haven't, been knocked on the earth's butt so often that they become hard, right? And I call it like the heart fenced up. They are more open to spirit. And for that reason, that is a beautiful alliance for them because they are open to light and source to help them in this walk because they are going to need it. They haven't been learned how to maybe forget as deeply because they need to be here. If they didn't have that earth to heaven, um, like a more concise light without a breaking of light, like a stream of light where sometimes we have to find it, they would suffer greatly and not only not become efficient, but maybe even have an adverse lifetime. So because of the novice spirit coming from other dimensions, or maybe just a novice spirit that has not incarnated more or often, they need that. They need that. And so those are some similarity and differences, and the difficulty that a spirit coming to the earth from other dimensions deals with when they come onto this earth's dimension, because the and we all know that it is a difficult journey, and it's one that we have to constantly be keeping track of and finding our light and working over those hurdles and challenges that some we choose and some get sent for us. So I'm going to take a short break and then I'm going to share with you an experience I had in dream state from another dimension. I'll be right back. Okay, so as I mentioned, you can ask for any experience that you want. Ask for anything that you want in light and love. The spirit world will always give you. I promise you that. Open your heart, anything except the winning lottery numbers. I always tease that, but sometimes you are meant to retain money. So sometimes sometimes those do come to you in your dream state or your meditation state. We just always play with that. We think money is everything, and believe me, as Dr. Phil would say, if you're working towards money, you have your job cut out for you. I saw that once on one of his stations, on one of his shows, and I was like, I can sit with that. That fits beautifully into my heart. So moving on to my share. I'm gonna share something that I know will sound maybe unusual to your human ears. So just stay open to the truths that maybe are embedded maybe in yours, my experience into yours, or just be open to maybe find where you want to experience if you choose to. Again, like I mentioned at the beginning, it moving into other dimensions isn't big on my spiritual to-do list. I've got lots of other things I wanna kinda work on in this lifetime and past lifetimes attached to my Earth's incarnations. But I was deeply moved when this experience happened, which I did ask for. So I'd grown, like I said, curious about other dimensions and versions of myself. I wasn't searching too deeply, just allowing spirit to bring what I needed. And so as I opened my intent, people brought up conversations. Books showed themselves to me. Small awakenings kind of happened, as it does when you're spiritually open. So I did send my intent. I'm like, "Oh, I wonder if I've been on other dimensions or what dimensions?" And I was just kinda open myself to that. So one night, and I will always say too, when you want an experience, ask for it. And sometimes it'll show itself at night because we've shut down our chatter, right? We're sleeping. So that means that the chatter is off. And ask yourself to be awakened, and that is what happened to me. So I experienced, a past lifetime in another dimension, and I don't have a lot of specifics. I'll just give you exactly what happened to me, um, at that time. I didn't need to inquire further. I got that experience, and I was like, "Alright, I'm good, thank you. Wow, that was really interesting." And so, as I slept, I woke and I saw with my human eyes, I was, humanly awake, a spinning stone. It was right in front of my eyes, like, maybe, like, 2 inches. I might be embellishing a bit, maybe, like, 4 inches, and it was just spinning. It was a huge the material looked like stone, and it was huge. It was probably, like, 2 feet in diameter, and it just was spinning just slowly, and I was looking at it in awe, and it was marked with symbols. No words, and it felt like hieroglyphics to me, and that type of, symbols and visionary, and I knew that it carried a meaning. I knew it meant something, although I didn't know what it said or what it meant, but I felt like it wasn't of this lifetime, and I remember just looking at it and just looking, I'm like, "Wow, what is going on?" And it was just spinning in front of my eyes, and then I was shown a vision. And again, the vision I showed is a very quick vision, but I'll explain in as much detail as that happened to me. And so I saw a form. I don't know if I could call it a body, but it was a form, and there was nothing around it. There was no three-dimensional items of any sort. It was just this form, and all of a sudden, it had, I didn't realize its outer film until it dropped. Let me just explain that to you a little bit deeper. It was a very thin, almost like between a Reynolds wrap and plastic film, and it was shaped in I guess, in a somewhat of a body form, but it didn't resemble human, and it just dropped. It just, let go and it dropped to, of the floor or the bottom of something, and I felt spirit just leave it. And I knew at that very time that that is how I left a lifetime in a prior lifetime on another dimension. That that was my spirit, that I was seeing that. I was seeing that. And I was in awe because I was, um, judging it or viewing it as an earth, passing, one that um, I've seen spirit leave body in the earth's realm, and it was very different. I didn't feel any emotion. I didn't feel any, energy. I It was just like, and I'll speak from the how I felt. "Alright, done, boop, done, gone." Like, it was a very matter of fact occurrence. It wasn't like, how Earth's journey back home sometimes feels, right? You're met with loved ones or, however whatever you create, you see, right? Maybe you see light or a tunnel or, whatever that is. Like, it was just the film fell, boom, done. And I said, "Wow, that was so interesting." because I felt, again, just I wouldn't even use the word peaceful. It was just matter of factly. I think that's my biggest piece. It's like, all right, my work's done. Boop, done. Cool. And it felt like it was an immediate decision. It was like one that was just made on the made at that very moment. It wasn't something that had a strong plan to it. And so I give you exactly how that felt for me. It was just a very, but I knew that that is a lifetime on another dimension. I don't know the name of it. Again, I don't have the desire to kind of go forward with that. Um, okay, the lifetime was done. All right, moving on. I don't know where I went. I was just shown the picture or showed the vision of the instant of, and I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. And that's really where I started and stopped. And it felt it felt like natural in that dimension, right? Or in that lifetime that I was being shown. And the process just happens very quickly. And I was and I as I was told, and I told you, I've had thousands of lifetimes. So maybe that was just one it was one, but maybe that's how you can number them so quickly, because I don't know the time, but it was quick and it was uneventful and it was done. So maybe you can do hundreds at a time. I don't have those answers, but it feels very much like that. But I know it was, somewhat of a threat in my soul's greater design. I wanted to experience it. I must have, because I was there. I know I was there. And so I share this not as an absolute truth for anyone, but just my experience and how it was shown to me. And for maybe understanding, maybe from a human point of view per se, what an experience on another lifetime looks, what I could digest or understand. I'm open to that for me, and I send that as an invitation for you to stay curious and open to what your soul might need, or need revealed, or want to be revealed. Right? Keep your heart open. So, as we close today and wrap up this quick two-part session on heaven and earth and other dimensions and how they are both similar and yet so very different, remember this: Earth is considered the most challenging incarnation because it is the most emotional one. Here, everyone listening, here, karma can feel heavy and growth can feel hard. But that very difficulty is what accelerates our ascension. Through each experience, we rise closer and perfect for God, to our divine source, and to the light of who we truly are. If you ever feel curious about other dimensions or wonder if you lived in them before, just ask. Set your intent, open your heart, then clear, ask, and receive. It really is that simple, because anything you ask for in light and love is always answered. So as you move through your days, trust your heart, follow what feels true, and remember, if it feels right, it is right. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for allowing me to accompany you on your journey today. There's so much for us to explore and learn together. If there's a light-filled topic you're curious about, or if you just want to reach out, I'd love to connect. Follow me on social media at Cheryl Bradley Medium, or visit cherylbradley.com to explore my offerings and events. I hope today's episode has filled you with the light to carry with you until we meet again. And let the title of this podcast stay with you today and every day. If it's light, it's right. Blessings on your journey.